Faughn.
Welcome into TWMP Daily. We have 4 days left of session left, and we are joined by the guy who had a big week last week and a big night last night. Senator Lincoln Huff, thank you for making the time.
Anytime, Scott.
And over to class that joined up representing the intelligent people here in the state of Missouri, Aaron Shrimp, thank you for making the time.
Thanks, happy to be here.
Okay, I think the best way to do this is just say,
what's up?
What happened with 19? Give me like
I think
condensed.
Yeah.
Pretend people didn't hear you on the floor.
Apparently they didn't, because I've got some people, and I've told people this before. So I have Facebook. I don't know how to get into Facebook. Like I don't know what all the codes are in the government that covers it or whatever. So I can't even get into it, right? So the way I get Facebook news is
do you have a Twitter?
I do, but I don't ever get on that either.
So hardly. I have an Instagram. I don't know how to get on either.
Okay.
But it posts. Somehow it's all tied together.
So, well, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
The point of the story is, so the way I get Facebook posts are people that think I'm going to be interested or annoyed by somebody's post. They take a picture of it, right, and then they send it to me. And so this morning I get like a handful of them from like random people that are House members posting things about how the Senate on House Bill 19 added $100 million worth of projects at the last minute, and they didn't know anything about all these things, and so how in the world could they ever take this up? So they're totally behind the decision that was made by, I think, a very small group of people not to bring up House Bill 19 and effectively kill $500+ million worth of capital. I don't know. But my point here is not true. And if I have to go back out to the Senate floor, which it sounds like, because apparently I didn't get through to him yesterday.
You definitely need to do that.
I'm going to go re-educate folks again, which apparently just has to happen. We passed House Bill 19 out of my committee Wednesday morning at probably 9:10 or 9:15 in the morning. So everyone in the House and everyone in the state and everyone in the world, because this stuff is posted online, could get on our Senate website and see what's in now House Bill 19. We also have these paper copies. Sometimes people look at paper copies. Let me ask you a question
like a House member, though. House members on the floor amend their budget.
Right.
In the Senate, that generally does not
We
happen.
don't do that. Correct.
So maybe a House member just thought, well, probably it got amended, right? But in the Senate, that doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen. The only thing that got added the morning of Friday were like 3 or 4 fairly small, inconsequential projects. One was just plussing up a number for a project that was already in there that the House approved. So I mean, this idea of like getting something dumped on them at the last minute is a load of garbage. But whatever. Apparently, we got to explain it to him again.
So the interesting part I saw when we looked into House Bill 19, which is funny because no one would ever looked into this much of the normal course of action.
Yeah, if it just would have passed.
It looks to me like a lot of these projects are projects initiated by House members.
Yeah. You know, the interesting thing, again, explained this yesterday, we didn't take projects out that the House put in. In fact, what we did is we added more projects for members of the House when they came over, not exactly satisfied with the amounts or maybe what got in on the House side. And so then they come over to my office and my committee and they say, hey, will you add a little bit here or do this project for this community or something like that? And by and large, the answer was yes. You know why? Because we've got over $1 billion sitting in the bank. Why would we not deploy those resources? I had a conversation yesterday on my way up here with a guy who, and maybe this is a philosophical difference between myself and the House budget chairman. I don't think that the government should take your tax dollars and leave it in the bank. I think if we're going to take your money, we should deploy it as resources to support your communities. Like, that's what House Bill 19 was. So this idea that, Senator just did this garbage.
You've been in the House, though. Aaron, you probably can't answer
briefly.
This because you work with that. Half a decade.
I mean, true. But how many days was I really there?
Oh, so you're probably there for 2 years.
2 years, probably all in.
House members do what they're told. They just do. That's why you're so bad at it. I mean, you were the shittiest House member of all time. But part of it is
distinction held in honor, yes.
Well, I mean, facts, right? I think you're putting in record as maybe the best appropriations chairman since term limits. But I also think you were the worst House member. I mean, I liked you because you were funny. But I mean, in all reality, it was you didn't do what you were told. House members do what they're told.
I think you should think for yourself. I think when you go out and you tell your community, I'm going to do these things, I'm going to support you, I'm going to stand up for you, I don't think you then get in a collective room of 100+ other people and sit there and say, what are we doing now?
Groupthink problem.
What do you want me to do now? And I don't think, and we're probably being a little hard on some of these folks, I don't think that the majority of them really want to be in that situation, but I think standing up sometimes is hard. Standing up to your leadership is harder. I mean, the reason I
It
talk
shouldn't
about
be on
it
this.
shouldn't be.
It
It shouldn't be.
on
When you
this.
go through these elections and you say, I want to do this and I want to make decisions and I want to get out there and I want to fight for the things that are important, like that, it should not be hard.
Well, I tell you, the folks at Jeff City, Dave Griffin and Rudy Veet, my God, I don't know.
Are they pretty happy with the decision?
If they are, they should resign.
Yeah.
I mean, Tara Peters, woo, Raleigh got beat.
Yeah.
I saw, but I was so.
And it's all over the state, Scott. I mean, it's not. and this-
Hardy Billington, what? Why?
Yeah, the boot deal,
Why
sure.
would you vote for a PQ for the speaker? I mean, here's my thing though. I have no idea the speaker was actually told about this.
I don't know.
Maybe he wasn't.
Well, that's even more of a problem.
But here's the difference. There's a difference in that leadership team. I think that the House Budget Chairman cares very much what people on Facebook think. I think John Patterson cares about what CEOs and business people think. He wants to be viewed very differently when he's done here than maybe the Budget Chairman does. I don't know that any of these decisions, and he's done a lot of things to set himself apart, frankly.
Sure.
To be a guy that you look up to, that you respect. The funny part about this is the people that John Patterson's budget chairman made happy wouldn't piss on John Patterson if he was on fire. They hate him. They would do anything they could to stick a dagger at him. They would have done it last week, and they do it today. And if he has any questions, wait till the first sense of blood in the water, and they'll all
Turn on
dive
him.
in. And the people that would actually stick up for John Patterson, the people that have stuck up for John Patterson, the people that have had his back, the people that would, if he's attacked again, who would be the first people to defend him, are the people he shit on by letting his budget chairman do that.
Yeah, it was wrong. I mean, in my opinion, it's completely indefensible. That's what I've been saying. It's indefensible. They're in action and essentially killing this bill.
Aaron, have you talked to anybody that likes this?
No, it was I think a lot of times you can look at, say, like, people have incentives, right? And so you look at the decision making here and you say, okay, what is the incentive to either gain leverage or win something? And there's not, it's hard to come up with a logical reason, because who gains? I don't know who wins other than the people who want Lincoln to spend more time on the Senate floor. So I think that those people won.
And you feel kind of sorry for places like the Boot Hill, who, let's just be honest, if you're going to say the 2x4 up in the Boot Hill, the governor's probably in here somewhere, right?
I would imagine, yeah.
It's like Kevin Bacon. You can't go 6 degrees from a project
Sure,
in Boot Hill
sure.
and not find whether we can all say conservative, all that. Reality's reality.
Right.
I hate it that they won't stick up for their folks. They'll privately say, what an idiot. Why do we let this person be budget chair?
Mm-hmm.
But publicly, they don't stick up for their people at all. They just take it.
Yeah.
And to me, honestly, if you have folks in the Boot Hill that lose their crime lab and they just take it and say, thank you, sir, I'm having another.
How about their hospitals? How about their
John
hospitals?
Eucken is a good dude. I don't know if he just doesn't care about Salem as part of his district or what. His response to me was basically, thank you, sir, I might have another. John Voss.
Yeah.
He was basically, thank you, sir, I might have another. Barry Hovis was a little bit more, he's a little more jacked, so he's not Cape, so you're not
Right.
SEMO, but it's
Different.
better. The further you get from Cape, the better SEMO you normally get. But it just shut. Now, Scott Cupps never disappoints. Love
He's
it.
generally
I just gotta
entertaining.
read this. I said, do you have a comment on House leadership cutting the funding for the Jenkins Bridge project? Yes. Multiple exclamation points. I do.
And this is Cubs?
Yes. Oh, yes. I really wish that former Governor Mike Parson hadn't been so petty by vetoing the last 4 years for no other reason it was in Senator Boone's district. Now that we have such a truly stand-up state to the governor's office, I hope we can work together to secure the funding in future. More and look forward to something come to
Lots
fruition.
of words, and then he's
Thank you
trailing
for
off.
all your support, sir. Berry County thanks you. Scott, I didn't do anything, actually, at all. I just, I don't even know where this bridge is, but I hope you get it built.
But no, this is the point. The point is from Cape to Neosho to Worth County, like there were projects all over the state.
Faulkner and Brenda Shields.
And
they
I
got stuff to
thought,
them.
I thought yesterday what I was trying to convey was that these aren't faceless numbers on a page, right? When you start talking about radioactive isotopes that are being researched at the Mizzou campus in that reactor that are groundbreaking medications, sometimes cures for cancer patients, and we took $50 million to help build the new, I think it's the only one in this hemisphere, the new research reactor. We just took that out because there's a guy from McDonald County who said, I think we're spending too much money. I'd like to see it in the bank.
So, Brad Powell, this is the best
Now,
one.
hey, wait, no. What happens if this is true? And I don't I haven't seen the pitch yet or not. Do you think the governor's really going to the House now to say, hey, you know what we need to do? We need to save those royals. We need to take $300 million after you all just killed $500 million of projects in your own districts. We need to take $300 million and give it to a guy, and I've met the guy, he's a super nice guy. We need to give it to this guy who, I don't know, he's probably not a billionaire, but he's like 100 millionaire-ish. We need to give him.
So Aaron level rich.
We need to give him $300 million. You need to take the crime lab out of Poplar Bluff.
That's what I was going to say.
You need to take the juvenile detention center out of Jeff City. You need to take the library out of Rolla. You need to take the sheltered workshop. And you need to give all those resources to a guy who owns a baseball team.
So 700 people could show up to a game.
I'm like,
Have you ever been to a Royals game more than 700 people? Legitimately.
Yes, but
but it was the Cardinals versus the Royals,
Exactly.
and it was
I was
probably a
pissed.
Busch Stadium.
I have a question for Lincoln though.
What is
With
this, an
term-
interrogation
yeah,
now?
Yeah, pretty
no,
much.
It's more of an
With your
intervention.
helmet,
I know, I like that.
It felt well. We got some texts. It felt like you needed one. I'm just kidding. With term limits, does this change? Does the
It gets
dynamic
worse.
Yeah, it gets worse
No,
every
that's
year.
what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I'll be honest with you,
Term
I
limits.
don't-
Do you see a scenario like this playing out?
I don't think the Senate's gotten worse with term limits. I think it's a different. It's different, but you still have people that elevate themselves. People raise their game when they come across the hall. Rick Bratton's had a very good session this year. I think he's a different guy than he has been. I think people elevate their game in the Senate. I think the House has. It's not the quality of the person. I think the quality of the people's fine. They're just very, very subservient.
But what I'm saying is if you have a 20-year tenured state rep making that decision versus a House freshman going along with.
Does that
rest
change
of
the
the Congress.
dynamic? I would say
Yeah.
absolutely.
Right.
I could
Yeah.
read
That's
you
my
Del
point, yeah.
Wright's, but I mean, Del Wright's comment, the lead belt just shows up. And this is the difference in a freshman and a senior. You know, the freshman rep that took Mike Henderson's spot, she basically said, yeah, you could cut the lead belt. I don't care. Del Wright's like, this looks bad on the speaker, the chairman, the House. This is not a way. These folks went through the process, did everything right, and then got the rug pulled out from under him. Well, Dale has other, to be fair, things and reasons why he probably feels this way. To me, if you're Hardy Billington, you represent Poplar Bluff, represent Poplar Bluff, or don't.
Right.
Or don't. But if you're going to represent Poplar Bluff, I would have a real conversation with some people and be like, what the hell are you doing? Like, I noticed this, and I like McDonald County. You know, they seceded from the state once.
We should have left him.
I-
Just kidding.
I just think,
I bought a round baler in Anderson, Missouri one time.
didn't you? Well, there's a town called Knoll,
There is.
and I like
People
Old
take their-
Torpy.
Yeah.
Christmas cards.
Christmas
yeah.
cards down there get stamped. You know, yeah, it's kind of cute.
I did notice, though, there's a project in McDonald County.
Oh, a $19 million park?
There's 22,000 people in McDonald County, right?
I thought it was 26, but you're in the ballpark.
Okay. So you could pretty much give all of them like $500.
Close to 1,000, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I noticed that was not in 19.
No, that was in an operating bill.
So if I'm Hardy Billington and the crime lab in Poplar Bluff,
Oh, you mean the one that like tests rape
Rape
kits?
kits, yeah.
DNA samples, and things, so they have to like ship them here and then ship them back and let them sit on a shelf for a couple of months and wonder where they are. And those, like that crime lab that isn't going to be built now. in
well,
Poplar?
the non-existent
The
crime
one, yeah,
lab.
yeah.
If I'm Hardy Billington, and you're like, well, you need to park in McDonald County, which I like McDonald County, good folks. I love the Lance.
Sure.
That historic courthouse they've redone is wonderful. I think me and my son have 2 bricks that Jane Lant beat us out of. We were not leaving Pineville till we bought 2 bricks, which I was happy to do.
Sure.
I just kind of wonder if Hardy Billington thinks the park in McDonald County was more important than that crime lab.
I mean, obviously, a
I
question.
mean, he didn't return my text, but I mean, I'm just his constituent.
Yeah, I mean, be a question for him, but again, I don't know how you can defend the actions or really the
Okay,
inactions.
going forward, so I get this thing from some of the Senate staff. They send out a thing about what bills they're going to go to, right? And so I had 4 or 5 people immediately send me the screenshot, and it said they're going to TFP a Senate bill, right? Then they were going to go to House bills.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the hell are you people thinking? Like,
Yeah.
did some House members take over Senate leadership for the day? Well, honestly, what
I mean,
was the thought?
Don't you wonder if almost that was just a, well, let's just kill this day? It's
Yeah.
more of a, who do we want to get to kill this day, in my opinion? And I don't know, maybe it's Tony talking with House leadership saying we're going to try to go get some of your stuff done. But after Friday, I mean, look, after the phone calls and text messages I got, not just from senators, but also from representatives who were, just like pissed off. On what planet was the Senate living that we were going to go do some House bills yesterday? And I like David Gregory, and I called him on my way up. And I was like, hey, David, I think you're like the first House bill up. First of all, and it's like 164 pages or something.
It needed a spreadsheet.
We probably needed to talk about that for just a minute anyway. But I didn't even get to the bill. But I said, what are you doing here? And he's like, oh, well, yeah, I think we're going to see if we can't get that done. I was like, dude.
What?
No.
Well, it's not David's fault, though.
No, it's not David's fault.
David's just
and it wasn't
on the calendar.
The best one was Bernsketter was the next one on the list with, I don't know, some something. And he goes, I'm on the list? That's Mike, right? I was like, yeah, I think you're like, second or third up or whatever. He's like, what is it? And I said, some House bill. And he goes, yeah, we're not doing a House bill. I was like, I know, Mike. I know. Because, again, like, juvenile detention center in Cole County, $15 million worth of a penitentiary, historic upgrade in this county. A $20 million parking garage and convention center.
Dave Griffin's a Green Beret. I want to be in the parking garage.
To me, it's bizarre. But we're going to have a conversation about giving the Royals $300 million.
My favorite part of the Senator Bernsketter and Lincoln exchange was when I think Lincoln realized he'd been picking weeds for Mother's Day instead of wildflowers.
That could have been.
Yeah, it did sound like those were not. You were churching the beauty of these weeds up quite a bit. Drop the $20
wild
and cheap
weeds.
ass. Is it? Let me just guess.
I love my mother today.
There was no flower shop open on Sunday. You didn't
at
go
that
on
time,
Saturday.
At that, correct? Yes.
Wild weeds.
Yep.
Wild weeds.
Yep.
You
100%.
created some bullshit story to make you forgetting to buy the flowers.
And Mike totally called you on it.
Yeah, he's like, I'm pretty sure you just picked a bunch of weeds out of the ditch.
I got to thank my buddy Carl. For
I might have.
Style. Look at that. It's got all the founders of Anheuser-Busch on it.
Love it.
And I got to thank our sponsors from the great Northwest, as a former appropriations chairman would call it. United Fiber sponsored our coverage this week, the last week of session. And the Courtyard by Marriott. If you love your family, take him to the Courtyard. Don't be cheap. Don't be Lincoln out picking weeds on the side of the road for his mom on Mother's Day morning.
Hey, she thought it was very, very endearing. Just
so thoughtful.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've no doubt.
Hey, it's a whole lot harder to do that than go to the flower shop and spend $20.
I will give you. Yep, that's true.
I had to drive around and stop and climb through the ditch, pull ticks off.
I do not believe for a second you wouldn't ask people if you could pick the weeds out of their ditch. Now that's
part of the story
that's too much. Yeah, that was that's a bridge too far, or ditch too far in this case. So what going forward? They thought to me.
Well, I assume we're going to try to do some more House bills today. If that's Tony's plan, I don't know. I haven't talked to him yet. He texted me right, but that's why I threw my phone across the room.
Are you going to do House bills?
He texted me and said, "Can we catch up before session?" Wonder what that means.
I told you that they wanted an intervention.
The good thing about that is I think we have one more viewer probably right now. Are you going to do House bills today?
Yeah, we'll see.
The
Look, I'm not trying to be, and that's why I said what I said yesterday. I'm not trying to say, over my dead body, are we doing it? That's not. I have always been. This is true, but I have always been a person who is willing to compromise with people. I'm willing to work with people. There's a reason that Dirk and I spent dozens of hours together last week getting those operating bills put together. Okay. Now again, some of the conversations make me scratch my head, not wanting to pay state workers, an extra $5 million out of a $100 million pay plan. But fine, that's a. Do
you think that comes from not having ran anything?
I honestly I've asked a ton of people.
You'll be train new ones. It'll be the shits.
Yeah. So I'm not walking into the Senate these last 4 days saying we're not doing any House bills. I'm not saying that, but I am saying that there needs to be an education with members from the other chamber about how this went down. And if you're being spoon-fed some line of shit from your leadership, it's wrong.
But if you want to eat shit, shit tastes good.
Well, they need to understand the truth and how this all happened.
Tara Peters got a bunch of shit shoved right in her face.
Well,
I guess she's going to take it. Here's the thing about this that sucks. There's nothing else you can do about this. It's done.
Right. No, it's over with.
There's
Yeah, that was
finality.
the majority of the senators that called and texted me over the weekend were saying, okay, so that's a problem. What do we do now? Like, how are we going to get this done? I'm like, folks, it's over. And even if there was an argument to be made that, and it's not, you can't make this argument, but people are saying, well, since they're not operating bills, the Constitution says appropriation bills. Well, they're appropriation bills. It doesn't say operating appropriation. It says if there are bills that are dealing with funding the state government, then they have to be done constitutionally by 6 o'clock last Friday. We do not, I believe, and I told this to Senator Moon yesterday, we do not want to get ourselves in a situation where we start taking these things up after the constitutional deadline, making the argument that, well, since they're outside the operating bills, we can do it. Because you know what's going to happen next year? They're all going to get pushed to the last week of session.
Should you not
and they're
just-
all going to be hijacked and leveraged
Isn't it
for
better
everything
business
else.
to just do them in the operating bills?
I mean, it's not set up that way, but
But there
everything
on that sheet is attached to a department, right?
there are capital projects throughout the operating bills. I mean,
So why don't you just get rid of these
I would like.
extra
I mean, and
bills?
I haven't done it. Well, I mean, we do it for simplification of the accounting. To be honest with you, like House Bill 20 is a bunch of ARPA, the federal money that came in during the zombie apocalypse or post-COVID, and it's an ARPA reappropriation bill, right? So we do it so it's not laced all through the budget. Now we could do that, and then for all those people who say it's already hard to follow, it's even harder to follow.
Yeah.
But House Bill 4, transportation, Scott, has, I don't know, 15 plus House member road projects in it. Like, we left them in, we put them in,
But
and
does
these guys
the
still
Jenkins
just,
Road Bridge, did the folks that drive that give a damn if it's in House Bill 4
No.
or House Bill 19 or House
No.
Bill 69 or
no.
whatever?
And I would argue that, Joe Q public out there doesn't care if we have $1.3 billion in the bank,
No.
$1.6 billion in the bank. In fact, if we started saying, you know how many billions of dollars we had in the bank? You know what John would probably say? Why are you holding my
We
money?
have billions in the bank?
What?
What? Yeah.
Why are you just sitting
Give it
on all
back.
my money?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or fix Jenkins Bridge Road.
Yeah.
Right?
So,
One of my so I did a little bit of tweeting while you were doing your thing yesterday. My favorite response. So I wrote about, you wonder what the House members who saw projects of their district sank by their own leadership think about that House leadership today. 99% of the time House leaders just take and do what they're told, but in this case, you wonder if they're that weak or if they'll stick up. And you know who responded with the word ironic? Justin Sparks. I thought that was super funny. The guy that ran for speaker got the last minute. I thought that was kind of funny, actually. Because to him, he's from the Chesterfield. He doesn't care.
Right,
The same budget
right.
than him. And so he got to sit back and watch all these people voted against him get totally sank. I thought that was funny. If I'm that dude, I'd be
good
sitting
for
back
him.
laughing my ass off. So going forward, few things left in session. Like, if you didn't do anything else in session, it wouldn't be that big a deal.
well,
right?
we got to overturn the will of the voters a couple times, don't we?
So,
Like, people voted on stuff, and then we got to go undo it because obviously they didn't know. Now, we're not going to do everything that they messed up in the last elections, but we're going to pick a couple and try to
right,
redo them.
I'm going to start with the easy one. Prop A, though, you run businesses. It sucks.
Oh, it's a nightmare.
I mean, it's
And
a
I've
terrible-
talked. I mean, everybody's
it's a terrible
talked.
idea.
Aaron, you probably talked to tons of businesses, right? I mean, they're wondering how is this going to? In fact, I had a guy text me yesterday. He's got I think 4,500 employees, both part time and full time.
Talking to Libla?
No, yeah. Gary Roman, you know that guy? No, and he said
knew
he
Gary.
goes, I think this new part is going to cost me almost $2.5 million a year.
Whew.
That's real money. And this is a guy who constantly invests in his people. Constantly. I've known him for a long time. The reason he's as successful as he is that he builds a team and then grows it out, and his people are loyal and they're smart and they're good. And he says thank you financially to them. And he's looking at this and he goes, this is going to be the difference in people getting that next little pay bump and me complying with this new. So I get it. Prop A, it's a mess. But you know what? People voted for it. Elections have consequences, as I like to remind people.
Everybody likes to remind them of their being a smart ass, right? That's like the ultimate smart ass comment, like sense of consequence, right?
Yeah.
Which I'm sure you say a lot. My style of knowledge prediction: you make some fixes to a terrible thing that was done to us by Washington people, the same way the Federalist Society on the right does things to us. They just want to. It's so funny. These people say, "Oh, Washington." These Republicans take the same cues and
Sure.
do the same shit for the Federalist Society.
For a different
They wants to
organization.
color us in on a map
Sure.
in Washington. Never gives a damn how it matters. The same thing on the left here. Terrible thing. You're going to do some changes, right? You'll make some fixes. I think you're falling right in their trap. I think they just come back 2 years from now and do a lot more in the Constitution. And say, well, the politicians went over their will of people. To me,
and it's pretty easy messaging. That's what I keep telling. I keep telling our folks. It's pretty easy messaging. You know,
so who's the one who thinks no, that's not going to happen? Who's telling you or your fellow senators you got to change Prop A? There's no way they'll come back and put this in the Constitution.
Well, I mean, I think we do borderline delusional things all the time in the Missouri Senate. But
I just
like if we do this, you know, this abortion thing, how much money are they going to raise in over a year?
I'm going to get to the abortion thing, but on this, I watched this so many times. Business folks come in your office. You've got to do this. The republic, the state's going under. And then when it comes down to when it's on the ballot, I don't see the same people have any kind of fervor with their checkbook they do with their mouth to you.
No. It's pretty easy to come up and petition the legislature to throw something on the ballot and then assume that someone else is going to come in and do the work.
Or change a law that was passed by the voters. These people have the will to do this. They have the money. Now, it's not Missourians' money, but they don't care. And the system's set up to where they're going to win again. I just think you're going to end up with a worse product in the end.
Probably.
I would love to see you get rid of the whole damn thing.
Probably.
I just think it's a temporary fix, right? Do you think that folks will fund the opposition to the next one? I don't.
No.
We're right to work. Remember all that? Oh, I got to be right to work.
No.
Nobody funded that. Went down in flames.
Yep.
Now let's talk abortion. Everyone's favorite topic.
Not mine. I generally steer out of it, but whatever. I'm listening.
You somehow wanted in the Republican caucus, so you people are very, very interested in
I
abortion.
haven't seen a Republican caucus meeting in quite some time. I don't even know
Why
if they
do
still
you have caucus
I don't.
meetings in the
They
Senate?
never go well.
You're a senator.
They don't go well.
You should elect leadership once in January.
We definitely shouldn't have caucus meetings like towards the tail end of session because everybody at this stage of the game is so hyper focused on their issue. It's like this is tunnel vision. That's the only thing that they care about, and so that thing is the only thing that we need to do. I'm like, yeah, but there's 34 of us, right? There's 33 people besides you who also have tunnel vision on some issue, unless you're Mike Searpoy, who got his shit done, I guess, in like February.
Well, pros,
or
get
something.
done in February.
And then he's like,
well, when you're that old,
he's like, I'm out. Well, you never know when the last day may be showing up.
Yeah, the last day of session might could have been sooner than you. I mean, the Constitution might not have mattered. You don't buy brown bananas and you pass your shit in February, right?
That's right.
So abortion. It feels to me like the law that was passed before was further out than the folks were on the pro-life side.
I think that's right.
I think there's something about this new law that's a little further out than the folks are, a little on the pro-choice side. You come in the middle of that, and you put something reasonable on there. The first thing I said, you had to have some kind of police report or something. I don't think the folks would vote for that. It wouldn't matter. But if they come up with something reasonable, I guess I don't see the problem in putting it back on the ballot again.
I mean, I suppose not. But again, I mean, my point earlier is when you do things, timing actually matters, in my opinion. And if you're worried about the other side of whatever side you're on coming in, you give them, 16 months or something like that before an election is going to be held to go raise money and message.
I think the pro-life folks are going to find it's very much harder to get a yes than a no.
Generally, I think people are predisposed to be leery of.
I vote no all the time.
Yeah, like, what is this government question? Probably not, unless you sell me on how it's going to be good for me.
Oh, you're from the government. You're at help.
Yeah.
No, thanks. Appreciate it.
I'm out.
Aaron, you tell me you've been in this space. In every walk of life, including abortion and everything else, a no is so much easier to get than a yes. It's going to take Mike Kehoe, right, raising the money for this.
Maybe.
And if he doesn't get actively involved raising money, it doesn't matter what you do.
Here's my cynical take on this. I told you I was going to be a cynic today. I think this is you get the legislature coming in and trying to mess with these ballot issues when they don't want to do the work up front. So like Prop A or minimum wage and paid sick leave are happening because healthcare is too expensive for people and they're not making enough money to keep up with inflation. So your policymakers, you can do things that actually address those issues. And then to your point, I guess you wouldn't need the Washington, D.C. consultants to come in and sell them on the messaging because the people that they elect to go work for them would be doing those things for them. So I kind of think it's like a chicken or the egg thing. Like you can do the work up front.
Well, how many? I mean,
improve people's lives.
It's not like Billington's job to get me sick leave. It's Hardy Billington's job to build a crime lab. I don't look at my state rep and say, Hardy, I need you to
but how many?
back.
But to your point, Aaron, how many times have we seen something get on the ballot because of the inaction of the legislature?
Yeah.
I mean, like
gambling.
Sports betting. Yeah. Medicaid expansion. I mean, Medicaid expansion was seen as a bipartisan issue for over a decade before it was on the ballot. So, I mean, you just can't say that, like, this is all funded by out-of-state groups and I mean,
Oh, I think the Medicaid
the Missouri
expansion was
Hospital
funded by-
Association was the biggest proponent of Medicaid expansion, so I don't necessarily consider them.
Well, you're exactly right. The Missouri Hospital Association was the biggest proponent of Medicaid expansion. The Missouri Hospital Association was the biggest proponent of Medicaid expansion. I'm glad you made that point. Kel, did we get that? Did folks hear that, you think? Okay, good.
It's
good.
clipped.
Good. So what you just said, Aaron, that we all agreed with, was the Missouri Hospital Association was the biggest proponent of Medicaid expansion.
I really fed him one here, didn't I?
Yeah,
I'm just,
you did well.
They have great hiring practices, right?
I'm going to leave that to you.
Just
to
Vescovo and the hell of
discuss.
themselves all session, aren't they?
I know
all right.
I know you have some thoughts here.
I don't have any thoughts. I was just repeating your thoughts.
Did you park a skid steer out front, by the way?
I feel good about my
what,
thoughts.
what was that?
If that guy doesn't get a ticket, I'm sure to drive one. Yes, I'll have one with the 416 license plate on the back of it, and you could. All right, so you're gonna do Prop A. It feels like a compromise is coming, right? Something.
Well, a compromise has been brewing for what? This session
I've heard
since January.
I've heard long time.
Yeah, I mean,
Flat 3D Doug's in a tough spot there, right? He's
Yeah,
in a
real
tough
Doug.
spot. Legitimately tough spot. I feel like
Yes.
he gets something done.
I think so.
I
think so.
I don't think there's PQ votes for Prop A, is there?
If there are, I'm not counting them. How's that?
Yeah, I just kind of don't feel that. Abortion, I think there is.
Yeah, that's a sticking point for a lot of members. Sure.
So you just in session on abortion. What was that thing last night? What is
What
the
thing?
what is the Senate strategy
Oh, that?
to
You
just
mean
have
rolling that thing out?
Republicans go out and filibuster their own bill for 2 hours and lay it over at 7:30?
That was an interesting take. I
Like,
don't know.
what's the point of that? I'm serious. I mean, I wonder what the strategy is. What did you?
Well, I
accomplish there?
assume those guys wanted to like actually talk about, it, which is interesting to me that a bunch of guys want to go talk about abortion. But more power to them. I mean, this is kind of the age-old play of let's trot it out for a little while. Say we worked on it for a little while. Say that there's no room to compromise. Maybe I don't know if they're planning on going back to it today for half the day or something.
I see that point. Yeah.
And then by Wednesday or Thursday, this is like the horrible scenario of where then we go get in a room, like then the Republicans caucus, and we're like, okay, now what are we gonna do? Which, like I said,
The speaker tells you,
never goes well.
The speaker calls the PQ vote,
and it's like, I don't know. We'll see what happens.
okay. So I get what you're saying. They put it out there
Hey,
to say
trot
we
it out.
tried.
It's the old trot it
Yeah,
out.
I get it.
Yeah.
It felt like a not a full-hearted effort.
No, I don't think so. I mean, it's only Monday. Well, now it's Tuesday.
Like if you're
All right.
fishing, you want to see if you're going to get a bite, but you just reel it back in. 'Cause,
What's
you know,
something
I don't
good
know.
that could
I don't know.
happen that's out
Something good?
there? Yeah. What's a
Good.
what's a piece of legislation?
Whoa,
you think
yeah.
is
I
Good.
told you, cynic.
Yeah.
Cynic.
Yeah,
I'm
and
playing
I'm-
cynic.
and
I
I'm
don't
me,
know.
Nothing.
so-
There's nothing good that could happen.
Of from what? From the
Keep it having session.
the week?
Yeah.
You're like, you have to be more specific. Like,
There's a
like in the Capitol.
I heard there's a
Yeah.
concert tonight in St. Louis. That seems like a good thing for the people that get to go.
Oh, really?
I gave
Who's
up,
going to what?
I personally gave up my ticket, so I don't get to go.
Who's
Well, to what concert?
in where?
It's-
St. Louis.
Yeah, it's Jelly Roll and Post Malone.
So
Yeah.
I think I
That
know
was a
their
good-
songs, but I
you
don't
asked me
know
to,
them.
You asked me to name a good thing. I thought.
But that,
what I
well,
came
I
up
mean,
with. That's what I
that's
came
just a
up with.
thing.
Mike
that's
Michelson's
happening.
playing at Bones tonight. If you're,
sorry,
for those
what?
of you interested, Mike Michelson's playing at Bones tonight.
I actually
I
really
like
like
Mike
him.
I like Mike
Michelson.
Michelson a lot,
Yeah.
and I think I like Post Malone songs.
Yeah.
I don't know that
St.
I
Louis is
attach
a little
them to
ways.
him.
Yeah,
It's
I
a
mean
lot.
that's a little ways from here. So
You
what
can-
are
you totally
are
are.
like house
Something-
people going?
If Lincoln would just filibuster,
You don't know?
things, you could
I
go, right?
Heard. Yeah, that would have.
So would that free
It
you
would
up?
have been nice to know
All you
that
gotta do
was
is ask.
happening.
So I mean, are you asking Lincoln to filibuster the Senate tonight? So you
Are you
going to
go get your tickets
I'm
back
not-
if I do?
Nope.
Who'd you
They're
get?
gone. They're gone.
All right. What if?
I'll bet we could get you tickets.
Yes, you could take a lobbyist gift. I bet there's lobbyists out there that would get Aaron tickets, probably very good tickets to this concert.
I wonder how many ticket offers you're going to get here momentarily.
That would
Lots of
My-
folks going to see Post Malone now.
be, my DMs are open for the tickets. Tickets only, please.
So,
not for other
so going
things.
forward, next year, operating bills only? You going to keep doing this game?
I don't know. I mean, time heals a lot of wounds. I mean, it helps the further you get away from an inaction like this.
Sure.
But it definitely has strained the environment considerably.
I saw the lieutenant governor. See, really, I mean, honestly, David Wazir should buy Dirk Deaton something of his choice. I don't know what he drinks, but I mean, Wasinger was the talk until Dirk Deaton pulled this on Friday.
Oh, I saw where you're
He gave you a good lecture, huh? Did you learn your lesson, or you?
You mean from the lieutenant governor?
Yeah.
Um,
Okay, I want to give a shout out right now, though. Justin Brown did a great job on the floor. I didn't even know he knew that many rules. If you want
Yeah,
the
Justin
truth.
Brown's he can be shockingly witty at times.
And shout out to his mama, who's
yeah,
not feeling
healing
that
up. She's healing up. Supposed to get out
I was-
tomorrow, I think. Yeah.
I heard she was just going to leave today, whether they
Okay.
discharged
Well,
her or not, which I believe.
her last
that.
name's Brown, so
It was, to me, that was like, okay, he gives you some lecture. You guys come in and show that the rules he wants to change, he doesn't know.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was fair enough, right? I mean, like you said, time heals things. By Monday, nobody will remember it because of this.
correct.
But it was, I mean, probably washing her O's during eating, like, you know.
Like a taco.
I'm trying to think. Do they
Like
drink
what it
coffee?
would I doubt it.
You spent hours and hours with him. I don't know.
I never saw coffee. I mean, I drink coffee, but shout out to Coffee Zone.
I assume no booze. I assume. So.
I never saw it, but that's fine. Yeah, I mean, my advice to people who want to change things are maybe figure out how they currently work and arguably have been working this session better than for the last several years,
And show up.
and maybe be around, maybe be a little more involved.
And
I mean, instead of just putting out a little press release or a Facebook post or something like that and saying, here's all the things I'm going to do, maybe actually show up and try to do them.
But I felt like it was a proportional response, right? Yeah, it was fun. Everybody laughed. And then you move on, right?
Yeah,
That's kind of what I thought
Yeah.
is that need to do that though. Need to do something,
you do something.
and that worked out. And then you taking the budget into Friday, give everybody a chance to be there longer. And
Yeah.
I'm sure many good pieces of legislation passed because of it.
Oh, I think people just like being in that building, Scott.
Sorry.
I think
Yeah,
there's
that's right.
a,
Collective
bit,
sigh
yeah.
from the gallery.
I think there's an art to the sooner you get elected, how much you enjoy being in the building. To the longer you're there, the less enjoyment you take from extended hours there. I think there's a freshness in it, and it's an awesome honor to be elected.
Oh, it
to
is. I mean,
such
and I always tell people if you've got to work, in any sort of job, there's no better office building to work in my opinion, than the Missouri Capitol. It is an absolutely stunning and beautiful building to have the ability to work in.
All right. So nothing else going to happen? Good.
I don't think we came up with anything.
I
didn't
didn't
hear.
have anything.
Kelton,
Sorry.
Shirley, you got. Oh, what about your Missouri State thing?
Oh yeah, that got done yesterday.
That did.
So you're good.
Yeah.
That was a
I
good
think so.
thing. There you
What
go.
what
Yeah.
degrees you give?
PhDs,
In what?
everything except, let's see. Well, I mean, there's no med school expansion, like Missouri State instead of a med school can't do a law school, no engineering programs, but pretty much all other PhDs that are out. I think it was like
What did Truman think about that? What did he get?
PhD in philosophy can now get at Missouri State.
Philosophy?
Truman.
It was
That's
People
his
in
name.
Springfield want degrees in philosophy?
I don't know. Maybe somebody does. His name.
What would
is-
you
his
do
name
with a
is
degree in
Truman.
philosophy?
the important thing is your
Philosophy.
money can go to Springfield now instead of Columbia.
What would, but like, why did, really, that's what they wanted, was a degree in philosophy?
That was a joke.
I think that's a joke, but that was a good
Oh,
one.
okay.
It was a
I didn't know.
joke.
Yeah. I mean, here's how I look at this in a much broader sense than just what is the specific degree that now Missouri State can offer. We like to talk about educational choice and educational opportunities until we get to higher ed. And then we're like, nope,
Monopoly.
nope, we're not doing that. I'm like, guys, at some point the hypocrisy has to stop.
No, it doesn't.
And if I got to be the one that points it out, like I'll point it out. So no, this is offering educational choice at yet another institution. Happens to be in Springfield.
So they can just do anything except,
Well, the coordinating board still has to sign off on. I mean, this isn't just a carte blanche authority to offer
yeah,
whatever.
Cliff
you
had
want.
that thing wired though.
I don't remember who else on there.
I think Cliff does.
I think Cliff does.
What did Truman get out of this?
I mean, Mizzou has been, and I will say this, Moon Choi has been very good to work with
Yes.
all year. I think another one of the.
I am not
Very-
a Mizzou fan. I'm a Moon Choi fan.
I think I'm both. I mean, my older brother went to Mizzou.
If I had to pick, I'd pick Moon.
Over the whole institution.
Oh yeah,
I mean, probably. That's probably. still
he's
true.
great.
But no, Moon was great. Dusty Schneiders was great.
Isn't he the greatest?
Dusty's a good dude.
So let me just ask you, this deal. I mean, Mizzou has a very hard time with this deal, but for Dusty.
Oh,
I think Dusty gets Mizzou
Well, I think-
more than anybody else could.
I think the relationship that Dusty has in the building are a testament to who he is and what his character.
And-
he's been around a long time. Like you remember, he used to walk the halls when Ronnie was here, Ron
Yes.
Richard, and he would. I mean, I remember being Yes, you called me
Well,
a house
He
member.
would hold people while Ron
And I
beat
would-
the shit out
That
of them.
dirty-
And I would like go over and I'd be hanging out in Watson's office or something, and Dusty would come by, and this is something that has fallen by the wayside because now we just like send a text out to you about what the bills are that we're going to do. Dusty used to actually walk the halls in the morning and go visit with the senators and talk about their priorities, what they want, and then take all that back to Ronnie, right? And like they would formulate a plan. I mean, that was when you had Ronnie and Kehoe and Wasson and Cunningham and say like all like kind of that old guard. And Dusty was a part of that. And I think the clout that Mizzou has is built oftentimes on the foundation of Dusty.
You hearing that? Because I agree. I think you get a lot better deal out of that legislature because of Dusty.
I agree.
All right. Anything else? What are you working on today besides going to the concert?
I'm not going to the concert.
I'll bet you have 50
You didn't
tickets
even-
right now.
Yeah,
I'll bet.
Check those DMs. I bet they're full.
Lincoln has skulls on his socks, so I think we should all be scared.
Oh.
That's,
I'm about to
He
put
woke
some
up-
pirate socks on this morning.
Chose violence.
I think maybe the people of
Shows
Missouri should
violence.
be heartened to see that. I mean, I'm not sure a lot of great things happen for them the longer you stay here this week, right?
No, that's correct.
I mean, at some point you go to abortion, that'll be that.
I would imagine.
You gonna let a Prop A fix go?
Oh yeah, I mean, if we come to an agreement on that, I mean, I'm not gonna stand in the way of that. Yeah,
You let an abortion thing go?
sure.
I mean, I guess at some point nobody will have a choice. It'll just go, right?
It'll just go. I mean,
How many PQ votes you get for that? 22?
Maybe 21, 22, depending on who else here. Yeah.
Oh, somebody leave. Yeah, I can see
Yeah.
that. I can see that. Democrats. I think that they're in a position where if this ends, that's just how it's going to have to end, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think they would filibuster the whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they're obviously very passionate on both of these issues. So.
But abortion. I mean, the Prop A thing's a new thing. I get their passion. Mm-hmm. I respect it. I understand it. I also think it gives them a lot of gusto when they have a vote of the public
Sure.
that they're defending. I mean, that's a much
I
better
mean,
case to
the
defend.
wind is at their back on this because
Yeah.
it was. I mean, and just very recently decided, right? So.
But doesn't the worm turn a little bit? When the policy's not what you want, the party that's not in power has a little more piss and vinegar.
Sure. Sure.
And I think the pro-life
I
folks,
hope for the institution of the Senate that it doesn't devolve into a PQ.
same here.
Right. I hope that
Do you see any way around that?
I actually do because I think I do. Well, I think
that look like?
I think both sides are still talking. Right. I think what you saw last night, and I mean I believe this to be true. I don't think there's been the line in the sand 100% that says this is it. Period. End of story. Take it or leave it. Like, and that's why Prop A is still being talked about. I think 3D Doug is actually still out there with his folks trying to come up with something that works, and I think Cindy is doing the same. So I don't see us yet that we like are at that point where
a percent chance that
Of
you
what?
come to agreement on this, on something on a ballot measure on abortion. 20%?
Oh,
I would go 5, and I would take the under.
really?
People can't compromise on abortion, man. They just can't.
Well, I think-
God's
but-
on both
Yeah.
sides, and what are you going to do when God's
Yeah.
on both sides?
I just think I don't know if the current state works for either though. Like I don't know that the Democrats don't want a PQ and they don't want it to go back on the ballot. And I don't know that.
But the
everybody
Democrats can
really
also
wants
do
this-
math.
Yeah.
Like, I used to tell JJ this all the time. Like, they can count.
Win
Right.
some damn elections as well as
So, so I mean, I see them very much saying, like, let's negotiate this as far as we possibly can, and then that last option is hanging out there,
Yeah.
which like I said, just for what the Senate is supposed to be, I hate to see that because we
So-
don't want to see the Senate turn into the House.
You don't. I'm not sure that's
Some
totally
some
true.
people might. I do not.
Yeah. Well, appreciate the time. Mr.
You bet.
Thank you so much. Enjoy your concert tonight.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
Kudos to you for freeing up Aaron's evening. That's
Thank
awesome.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And kudos to
Appreciate it.
Missouri State.
Man of the people.
Thank you all so much. We'll see you here tomorrow. Oh, Betsy Fogel's running for an office. Can't remember which one. She'll be here joining us tomorrow. I think, what will be, Kelton, 8:30? Yeah, 8:30, then we're going to have to get up early.
Kelton's asleep.
I'm going to have to stop drinking at some point
He
tonight.
fell
We'll
asleep.
see you here 8:30 tomorrow with Representative Betsy Fogel. Is everybody really, I hear, like the response to some of these texts where they were going to Betsy to see if she could get things on the Senate floor? All right, we'll see you
I
tomorrow.
don't know.
We'll ask her.